There are so many different archetypes and playstyles you can create with the versatile build system of Guild Wars 2, but then the average player still just wants to play a traditional paladin, which hits hard, can help its allies, and survive on the front lines of battle. I have created a Guardian build that has the versatility and power level of the paladin fantasy, but through optimization over time it became more and more about the numbers and effectiveness more than the actual feeling of being a paladin. So while Firebrand gives a lot of support to allies and has plenty of damage over time, it can be a bit complex with how many skills you need to press to be effective, and Willbenders are great at chain killing, but can be a bit selfish. So the Dragonhunter is that perfect balance of team support, burst damage, survivability, and simplicity that creates the perfect Vengeance Paladin playstyle. So in this video, I'll show a build for open world in Guild Wars 2 that allows you to stay on the front lines with plenty of blocks and healing while doing massive damage with melee weapons to smite your foes. So let's start with the gear. The idea of this build is to sacrifice as little damage as possible while also getting really tanky. So we go for the dragon stats to get as much burst as possible while still getting a decent amount of vitality, and we'll get our crit chance up through the traits. I go for Scholar Runes as well because those are the highest burst, and then I go for a Greatsword with the Rage and Force sigil, and a Sword and Focus with Force and Agility sigils. I go for the Defender Relic because you get a lot of blocks on this build, and although you get diminishing returns per block, you still heal a lot because we have a scaling based on our vitality, and we have a decent amount of vitality, and we have a ton of blocks on this build, so we'll be surviving and sustaining whenever we use Aegis. For the traits, I go for Valor, Radiance, Dragonhunter. In Valor, we have a lot of block synergy. You get Aegis whenever you go below 50% health. We have the Focus trait, which gives you protection and resolution whenever you use a focus skill, and this is important because we need our resolution, which is a damaging and defensive boon because we'll get a lot of radiant synergy from this, and we get a lot of protection, which helps us to survive not only from this trait but also whenever we block with Aegis. So we have a lot of Aegis in this build, and we'll get Might whenever we block as well. So we're just getting tons of boons just by blocking, and we will get the Litany of Wrath whenever we use our F3, which is our big block ability, and Litany of Wrath will heal you for the damage that you deal. So when you're in a lot of trouble, you start blocking and then you just do a bunch of damage, you ignore all the damage attacking you, and you just hit them, heal up, and then you're suddenly in a good positioning. And we also use this on our heal skill, so we have two ways to get a lot of healing from just ignoring damage and just doing more damage than the enemy does to us, and therefore we just heal through it. And then we have altruistic healing. So there's also kind of like burst healing, and then there's passive healing, and then there's defensive healing on this build from the defensive Defender Relic. So whenever we gain a boon, we heal, and we're gaining boons all the time on this build because whenever we block or Aegis, we're getting protection and might, and we're also gaining boons from the Radiance trait line. So we gain resolution whenever we use our heal skill. Whenever we have resolution, we do more damage. We get some extra ferocity and crit chance to burning enemies. And then Righteous Instincts gives us, whenever we have resolution, which we're going to have a lot of, is going to give us might every second. So we're gaining altruistic healing every second, and we're going to get some extra crit chance. So pretty much we get to 95-ish% crit chance by just having full Dragon Ascended gear. And we're healing a ton because whenever we block, we're healing because we get might, which gives us altruistic healing. We're getting the Defender Relic, and we're just getting tons of boons over time. So we just have a ton of sustain on this build. Then in Dragonhunter, we're going to go for the Trap trait, which gives us Aegis. So whenever we use the Fragments of Faith or the Procession of Blades, we're going to get an extra Aegis. Although this is not really too many traps on this build, so we're not getting too much synergy from this, but it's just extra blocks to fit in that rotation of we're going to have just tons of blocks going out non-stop. And then there's Defender's Dogma, which is actually really interesting because whenever you block an attack, it will reduce the cooldown of your F1 ability, which is really important to doing damage. So we're going to use our F1, which is going to give us 25% more damage to the targets that we tether with our F1, and it will give vulnerability to targets that we hit that are tethered. So for the skills, I go for the greatsword and the sword. The sword and the greatsword are both melee weapons, so I figure those are the most paladin-like. But you could go for a scepter if you wanted a ranged option. You can go for a longbow, but I feel that that doesn't really fit this playstyle because longbow is a little bit slower, and we want to go for a more fast-paced playstyle, and that's why we have so many blocks. So I like the sword and the focus because the focus gives you more blocks, and it also has Ray of Judgment, which is just a really cool smite ability that makes you feel like a paladin. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to use Symbol of Blades to get in. This is going to give us Fury, which is crit chance. Important to get our boons up at the start and our damage modifiers. So the damage modifiers that we want is using the F1 to tether their target, which is going to give them cripple. We do more damage to crippled enemies and to tethered enemies, and we're also going to give vulnerability to the tethered enemies. And the sword 2 is going to give us Fury while we're in that symbol. So we get the Fury from the sword 2. We get the Resolution, which is more crit chance, and Might from any of the focus abilities. So we're just going to do the F1, Focus 4, Sword 2, and then Sword 3. And that's kind of the opener there. Then before you go into the Greatsword, we want to use the Focus 5 so that we have our block up before we go into that. And then we're going to do our Greatsword, which is going to be 4 into 2. And that does a lot of damage. And also, this has a field that will create cleansing bolts, and that'll cleanse conditions off of you. So this build doesn't have too much condition cleanse, but you know, the F2 cleanses conditions, and the Focus 4 cleanses conditions, and the Sword 2 is a light field, and blasting that is also a condition cleanse. So there's a decent amount of condition cleanse. You're just gonna have to know where it is. It's not one ability, it's kind of combo oriented. We do not have swiftness on this build naturally, so we have to use advance, but advance is also pretty convenient because we also want to be blocking on this build. So where are all the blocks on this build, right? So we have the Focus 5 blocks 3 hits, and it will do damage if that last hit is not broken. And then we have the passive, right, from the traits. We get the passive Aegis that'll just trigger when we go below 50% HP. We will get Aegis whenever we use Procession of Blades. We will get Aegis whenever we use Fragments of Faith. And then when Fragments of Faith triggers, you can pick up any of these fragments and they will each give you Aegis. So you kind of want to like time them, picking them up in between your skills, or when an enemy attacks you, breaks your Aegis, then you go pick up another one. And so that's going to block a lot of attacks because there was like 5 on the floor there, and just using it gives you Aegis as well. Also, there's the Shield of Courage, which will block for 3 seconds in front of you, and is not Aegis, so if they hit you multiple times, it'll block all of them. And allies that are in that frontal cone will also block attacks. So you can support your allies by standing behind them using the F3, and as long as they're in that, they will block attacks just like you would. And if enemies are behind you, they will actually hit you. So you have to make sure you're facing the enemies. So those are your blocks, but you also have Renewed Focus, which will recharge all of your virtues and allow you to do it again, which will give you the Litany of Wrath again as well. So if you're under a lot of pressure and you just are out of cooldowns, Renewed Focus really helps you to survive that little bit until your cooldowns come back. So let's show the rotation. It'll look kind of like this. F1 into Focus 4, Sword 2, 3, 5, swap, do the Greatsword Burst. I'm going to do my Procession of Blades 2, 5 and 3, just because we're waiting. Let's get some Aegis going while we wait for our Greatsword Burst. And then we'll do another Aegis. We'll wait for the Greatsword 4 before doing the 2, because we have to swap weapons anyway, so we don't care about delaying that much. Use our F1, swap. And then we just kind of just face roll our abilities whenever we swap, because we have to wait for the weapon swap cooldown anyway, so you want to use your skills as fast as possible. And then swap, and then use your skills as fast as possible. And if they come off cooldown before you swap again, that's good and all, but you can see it's pretty simplistic. It has good burst, not too much DPS though, because it drops off, but a lot of mobs in open world will die to the opening burst very quickly, so it has pretty good damage, but even better burst. Compass. Okay, so this is a Fractal level 93. Now, I generally like to do instance solos because it's more reliable, but there's actually a lot of people out in the open world right now, and this is just more challenging, to be honest, in my opinion. So I just prefer to do this instead. But yeah, there's a lot of people in the open world, and I was just struggling to find things to solo because everyone is just there. But these guys do a lot of damage, as you can see, but have a lot of blocks, so we can actually survive through a lot of these level 83 mobs, which are really hard hitters because we just have so much blocks and stability here. We're gonna get immobilized, use the F2 there, get out, blind the mobs, and I'm a little bit low on cooldown. These mobs hit pretty hard. These are like really savage mobs. I'm gonna pull them in. I am immobilized here. Let me blind them. Use the sword 2. Let's get some cleanse here. Heal up. F1 them. Let's just pull this. They have last laugh as well. So yeah, this fractal can be a little bit challenging, but as you can see, I'm just kind of casually going through. Let's pull these mobs together this time so that we can AoE them a little bit more properly. So let's get the stability because that's a stun ring. Use my F3. Focus 4. They're splitting up again. Okay, so this is not good. Let's try to pull them over to this wall. Yeah, there we go. They're going to be trapped here. Let's heal up. Just do mega damage. Blind them. And we're going to need to wait a little bit for our cooldowns. Pull them at the end there so that they're just CC'd. And keep using this wall a little bit. I'm going to block. Grab some of these Aegis fragments to heal from my Defender Relic. Let's blind and heal from the Greatsword 3. And then we're going to use our heal skill. So you can see, like, when the heal skill is up, I can just go complete main character mode and just ignore everything because I do so much damage with this build that I heal a ton. But when that's not up, I kind of have to use my cooldowns to survive. And yeah, Guardian in general is just a very cooldown based class. When you don't have cooldowns, you're very weak. When you do have cooldowns, you're extremely strong. So managing those cooldowns is pretty important. But since I have so many of those cooldowns, you can kind of just spam them in, like, this is a pretty challenging situation. So I kind of can't really spam them, but in most other situations, you can probably just spam them and you'd be fine. So I like to do some solo challenges to kind of test the limits of the build. So here's the next limit test. Mobility. How fast can I get through this trap? Ooh, the leap, it worked. Okay, let's jump over here. I'm gonna use my F2 to get to there. Oh, I don't have F2 up. Am I gonna risk it and die? No, I'm not gonna risk it. Okay, let's go for this, and we can leap here. Use the F3 to block that guy. And we can, so this part we need to have actually condition cleanse. And you're gonna think, well, how am I gonna be able to do this on this build? You have no condition cleanse. You'll see, I have plenty of condition cleanse for this next part. But I want to kill this mob first, just so it's more clear what's going on. So we're just going to do our burst. These guys they have protection on them because we have no pain, no gain, which is kind of annoying. So they get protection, so that's going to make this a little bit more difficult than it needs to be. Yeah, we're just going to keep blocking, grabbing these Aegis fragments. I'll use my sword 3 because it's a little bit ranged. And then we will go in with the sword 2. I have no Aegis, so I'll use my focus 5 to block. Get my F1 in so I can do my greatsword burst. And these mobs are actually pretty tanky, so I do a decent amount of damage. So whenever I hit one of these things, I need to hit all 4 of them in, what, like 10 seconds? But each one immobilizes me for like 4 seconds. So I need to cleanse conditions. So what we're going to do is, the first one I'm going to use sword 2 into focus 5, which is 1 Condi cleanse. And I'm going to use on the next one, I'm going to use the focus 4, which is another Condi cleanse. And I'm going to use my F2 to leap out of the 3rd immobilize. And that should be enough. I don't think I have any more condition cleanse. Oh yeah, I could also use greatsword 4 into greatsword 2. So let's actually do that now. Greatsword 4 into greatsword 2. That didn't remove the immobilize for some reason. Okay. And then we do the 4, that cleanses, and then we get the last one here. And then we can just do this to remove it, I believe. Yeah, that should have removed it. Now this last one, we're gonna need to do that again. But I don't want to kill this mob because we know what we need to do here. So let's try to get through here without dying. I don't want to be low health. So another thing is, like, I can't really heal too much unless I hit things. So I need that passive resolution. So I want to use this here. That mob chasing me is kind of annoying, to be honest. Okay, let's do this. Oh, I did not get the cleanse. Are we going to make it in time? I think we're not going to make it in time. Alright, let's FF. I failed because this mob was annoying me. Let's try to bait him down here so that I don't have that happen again. He was taxing me too hard. Okay, we need to save our cooldowns though. Oh man, this is going to be rough. Okay, okay. We should be fine. We should... Okay, this is not fine. This is not fine at all. And he's chasing me. Okay, we need to kill this guy. What is he doing? Is this really what we're gonna be doing here? This is crazy. Okay, we can pull him out. No? Well, I can do this. No, I can't do that. That guy is so annoying. Okay, let's just pull him down and kill him. Come on down. Yeah, the one weakness to Vengeance Paladin is puzzles. This is not an intelligence stacking class. This is a charisma and wisdom stacking. Well, I guess... Do paladins use wisdom? I guess they use wisdom. Yeah, this is more of a strength. Yeah, this is... Vengeance is about strength. This is not a wisdom paladin. This is a strength paladin. So, you know, the puzzles can be a little bit difficult, you know? They can be a little bit difficult. But when I'm just mashing my keyboard and killing this inquest extinguisher, it's not that bad. Stick to fighting. Let the mesmers do the puzzles. So, yeah, this is just gonna be kind of face roll, just killing these mobs. Use F1. That's for 2. Okay, now we can do the puzzle without getting taxed. Let's go through here. Oh, this is gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. Should be fine. Should be fine. Maybe not. I got taxed anyways. Okay, so I want to use the F2 right through here. Use this. Cleanse myself. Use the F2 again. And then the last one is right here. Got it. Perfect. First try. Completely. Did not mess that up even once. Alright, this part is where the real fun is. So we get a lot of mobs spawning. Pull these guys in. I'm going to block so I don't get weakness, because that'll prevent me from doing my burst. Do the double spinny. Sword 2. So yeah, the spinny trap is going to give me fury. And the sword 2 gives me fury. So if you want to start in greatsword for whatever reason, even though it's ideal to start in sword, you just want to use the spinny trap to get your fury instead. Because those are your only 2 sources of fury. And let's use the focus 4 here, focus 5 to get our resolution, and just burst these mobs. Last laugh. Don't want to stand in that. Now more spawn. Let's pull them in. Okay, we want to block here, get our heal up, dodge that, because that banner can hurt a lot. Blind them. It's F2 to get out of immobilize. Let's go into our fragments here. Get some Aegis. I don't want to stand in the cannon though, because that's unblockable. I can't block that. My one weakness is cannons. I can't block it. These are greats for 5 because you can use that from range. Oh, these mobs already spawned? Okay, perfect timing on that. I broke my tether though. Let's pull this one in. Then use this. Oh, I'm getting CC'd. Let's get our fragments while we wait for this daze to end. Some condition cleanse from the combo there. Get the tether. Block once. Oh, and also I can block projectiles with my Sword 3, I guess that's kind of useful sometimes. Blind them with the Greatsword 3. I shouldn't have used the Greatsword 5 there because there's going to be more spawning soon and I want to pull them in. Yeah, let's get this weakness off me though. The F2 cleanses. Okay, let's block. Blind. Get some Aegis fragments. Blind again. Get more Aegis fragments. I'm going to use my Focus 5 because I'm a little bit scared. We'll do our burst here pretty soon. Just trying to dodge. Okay, there's more spawning. Let's get the Aegis fragments going again to protect myself. More Aegis fragments. Let's collect these Aegis fragments. Okay, they're kind of stacked together so we can get a lot of damage and value from our healing here. I'm going to wait to use my Focus 5 because I'm healing through the damage anyway. I don't need to block it. Now that it's ended, I need to start blocking, getting some healing from that. So you get Defender Relic as healing as well, but you don't want to use your Defender Relic healing at the same time as your other healing because then you're wasting it. You don't want to use too many cooldowns because then you're wasting. You want to space out those cooldowns so that you get maximum value and that you can have something going at all times. Rotation through those cooldowns is pretty important. And I keep wasting my Greatsword 5 early here because these mobs are spawning and I want to pull them together. Let's block this with my F3. Do the burst. I'm going to back off. Block this. Stun break with my fragments skill. I'm going to just leap out of this. F1 to pull. Yeah, these cannons are a little bit annoying, but you can kind of see how the build functions better when you have things that you have to avoid because that's a real situation. Now, a bunch of these guys are going to spawn, and I'm kind of out of cooldowns, but we've just finished the entire phase, pretty much. So this is a good time to use my Elite, pull them in, use our Aegis. I'm going to have to use the heal skill here. Block because I'm immobilized. I can get these Aegis fragments. Got my last Aegis fragment, so I'm going to blind now. Blind again. Block from the trap Aegis. Pull this guy in. I'm going to block while I'm dazed with the advance. Oh, I got knocked down there. And let's pull these last two in. Do my burst. So now we're going to be at the final boss after this. And we might as well show it because we can. Oh, this guy's really tanky, so he's going to take a while to kill. I just got to wait for this cooldown. So now we're at the last boss. This guy kind of hurts with that mace. Which is kind of a puzzle too. So I don't know if my intelligence stat is going to be high enough for that. But we'll see. We'll try with charisma and strength. I don't know what Vengeance Paladins, what stat they use. What's their primary stat? Primary stat is power and ferocity is what it is. Alright, let's start in sword actually. Do our burst. F1. Before we swap, we're going to go into the Focus 5. Do a huge burst here. They have protection though, so I don't do a huge burst because of the fractal instability. Get Aegis up, and Aegis gives me protection, so I kind of want to block even if I don't need to block something specific, just to keep up my protection uptime. It's kind of annoying, that knockback. We blocked that, so that flamethrower attack, that napalm shot, that kind of hurts, but we blocked it there. Get this Aegis. I'm going to block preemptively. I have my heal skill up. Now, naturally, as a Guardian main, you have the compulsion to press that heal skill off cooldown, but I'm not going to do that here because we can wait a little bit. We've still got protection. I'm going to use it now. Use all my damage so that we full heal through this poison as well. And I think we only need to get the boss down to like 75%, and then it goes into the puzzle phase. Okay, so we're going to wait to use our block until there's something we need to actually block here. This mob over here is actually kind of annoying too. Maybe we can pull them together. Boss doesn't get pulled though, so let's stand on the boss. Let's use our protection here. And I'm going to use my elite pretty soon. Leap away and then sword 2 back in. To give myself the most... Kind of like when you're in the F2 animation, you're kind of vulnerable because it's not an evade frame. Let's use the elite here. Just to be safe. I'm going to F3 immediately. Even though I can use my heal, I kind of want the protection as well. And let's put this down. Alright, use the heal. Big damage to keep my health full. The poison is kind of keeping my health from going up, but we're going to phase it here very soon. So this is fine. And now we go into the puzzle phase. So we just got to kill these golems over here and just avoid the center area. Oh, I'm going to port through this. That was kind of a jump scare. And I believe they get block when they... Yeah, when the laser passes through them. So I want to kite them so that the laser doesn't hit them, but I also gonna need to not get hit by the laser myself. So we can just kind of like backpedal here. I have an unblockable spear though, and I can kind of pull them into my traps. Oh, he just hit the center area. Yeah, this is kind of annoying. Can I jump over the... I can actually jump over it, yeah. Block here. Yeah, and they've got permanent protection because of the instability, so that's kind of annoying. I don't have any boon removal. Let's port through this. Okay, 1 down. Now we got 2. 2 shouldn't be any more difficult. We can just cleave them down at the same time. Put down the trap and pull them in. Put down the smite, ray of judgment. Try to pull them away. And then we will do the tether on both because it pierces. But go for this one since he's closer. And we can put our trap down as well. So let's put that here. Pull them in. Do my burst now. Get Aegis up just so I don't get interrupted. And finish them off. We're going into phase 3, the final phase. Now we gotta use this elevation here. But the mobs kind of bug out. I think this fractal has a bug in it where like the mobs bug out when you stand on the thing if you're solo, because you're technically not in valid path, and since there's no other players here, there's no other player that's in a valid path, but I can just jump over these small ones, I guess. I guess that works. Let's pull this one so it doesn't get blocked, so my trap does full damage. Let's jump over it. Don't get hit. That's actually really easy to just jump over, huh? I don't skip leg day. Actually, that's false. I'm not a Vindicator. I do skip leg day. Vindicators don't skip leg day. But we're just gonna finish these guys off here pretty soon. Jump over this. Oh, I didn't jump over it. I got hit by it. Panic mode. Panic mode. Okay, my heal is going up. Need to block this. This guy's going haywire. Let's try to burst him fast here while we can. And that is the Fractal 93. So that's pretty much the Vengeance Paladin build. You get the idea of how to play it. It has a lot of survivability. It has a lot of damage. It isn't really like a sustained damage build, but it has pretty much everything else you could ever want in a build. It's fun. It has that fantasy of a paladin playstyle with the big weapon and the just being able to stay on the front lines and helping your team a little bit with the blocks. So yeah, if you guys like this video, then please like and subscribe. Support me by becoming a channel member by clicking the subscribe button and then clicking the join button. For as little as $1 a month, you can support me. And I will see you guys in the next expansion, where I will be playing and making the most fun and effective builds for all the new elite specializations. So that being said, I will see you all next time.